to the chase. Where the sense of thrill, bit of charm, and hearing the time stand still. Diving deep where others just pretend. Think of kind on the journey, chasing dissent. Dissent. True hits of stride, don't be content. Join the chase, be omnipresent. With Benn and John, no time is misspent. On the trail, with chasing dissent. Join the chase, be omnipresent. With Benn and John, no time is misspent. On the trail with Chase It Dissent. Dissent.
Good evening and welcome to Chasing Dissent's Sunday Chill Zone. If you've come here for Ben, go away, he's not here. If you've come here for something that's probably not going to make sense, then go away. It's not going to happen because it's just me and Sunday, and we're going to have a little chat. And I'm sorry that I had to delay the stream slightly, but that was because I fell asleep. Yes. I'm getting to that kind of age now where I need a nap, a bit like Joe. In fact, let's actually talk about Uncle Joe, because more and more independent media outlets are starting to say that Joe's not going to run come November. He's going to be pulling out shortly on the basis of some kind of personal problem or personal reason, or maybe just the fact that he's going to accept, or people are going to accept, that he has advanced dementia, and therefore isn't going to be able to do it. And you know what? And I hate to say it, but I'd respect him more if he actually pulled out, or I'd respect the people that are running him more if they actually let him pull out. I think they're going to have to now. Even the Democrats themselves are getting more and more vocal on it, and I still think it's Gavin Newsom as the runner. I know he's not greatly liked by the Democrats, but who else have you really got? Mind you didn't have anyone when Joe Biden stepped in to do the job, and when he took over from Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders was the front runner. I mean, Bernie Sanders would have been he would have been your president. Americans thought it is. He would have been your president if the Democratic Party hadn't decided that they didn't want him, because the people didn't get the choice, really, did they? You know, he was off the ticket, and Uncle Joe was the nominee, and that's worked out really well, hasn't it? No, it hasn't. So yeah, I've been quite clear. I think I've been very, very clear that Uncle Joe's not going to run in this election. And I think it's now starting to look that I am actually going to be right, and maybe I should have put a bet on it. But there you go. We'll see what happens. As always, we will see what happens, because if you don't hang about, you'll never see what happens. Meanwhile, George Galloway. George Galloway. What do you think of George Galloway, people? And I'd like to welcome people that are here in the chat, and it's good to see you all again. You guys keep coming back, which is great. I think it may indicate some kind of mental disturbance, but, hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge except I am the judge? Anyway, so hello Shalini, Dreadeye and Julie. I hope you enjoy your little prezzies, your little treats that we sent all the way to Wales for you. I wasn't having tech issues. I actually did fall asleep because this morning I got rudely awakened after about 4 hours sleep. My wife had been taking her son up to Glasgow to start his job at 7 o'clock, and got a flat tire and couldn't. Well, she looked in the boot, saw the space saver, and thought, "Oh, there's no jack, so I won't be able to do it." So got a taxi home. So I then said, yes, well, the jack would be under the wheel, and indeed it was. So we went back to the car, and I changed onto the space saver, and now we're looking for 2 new front tyres. But such is life. Such is life. Such is the basis for living in poverty. Well, yeah, near poverty, that you have to scrabble about looking for a dosh to repair your car. When your wife has driven the tyres off it, literally. But hey, these things happen. Who else we got? Sophie, good to see you. That was one of Adam's songs, Sophie. Adam made that for us. Shalini Slim. That's what I'd like to be. I'd like to be slim. I was actually watching something on his Empic earlier, and it's got quite a stack of potential side effects, should we say. So it's not something you'd want to be taking without looking into it properly before you started. We didn't pick Rishi or Hamza. No, of course we didn't. But really, we don't get to pick anyone, do we, really? Because, we picked Rishi or Hamza in the fact that they were elected members they were elected representatives, and the parties are in some cases a cabal of the representative members didn't even vote. They just decided to install Rishi in that case. But having said that, we don't really pick anyone. And you don't really you represent the person that gets elected to represent you doesn't even necessarily have the majority of the people in their constituency voting for them. Because there's a fair amount of people just don't vote. And then there's a fair amount of people who will vote for the other side. And then, so usually at best, you've no more than a third of the people that you're representing voting for you. So you're actually, when you're in Parliament or elected to local council or whatever, you're only ever representing about a third of the people. So you're bound to get it wrong. You're bound to get it wrong. And the majority of the people won't like what you do. Because a third of the people that did vote for you aren't going to vote for you on particular issues. And this is why, I think Farage still one of the policies that I've been advocating for a few years now, to be fair, which is more of a direct democracy, a la Switzerland. The people can call for a referendum on major topics. And Why not? I mean, we already do it to a degree. We did it for Brexit. So why can't we have a more direct democracy? And don't say it's because we would get things wrong, because really, really, can we get them any more wrong than I mean, for instance, let's say the furlough scheme. Should we not have voted on that? You know, and many people may have voted for it, in which case I would look stupid, but at least we would then know that the majority of the people that voted for it are the majority voted for it. And even then, as I said, you don't necessarily get the majority voting because of the amount of people that don't vote. But in this day and age, and actually, to be fair, in this day and age, do we really need a government the way it's envisaged these days? Why can't we have a more egalitarian society, a more equal? When I say equality, I mean more. Everybody's got in fact, everybody really has access to the internet. So why can't we have the ability to cast a vote? And I mean, it's a trivial matter to make sure it's only a one-time cast. You know, so why can't we do that? So why can't we directly influence the situation? My God, I mean, they've been training us for years, haven't they? Because they've been doing it with voting for things like Big Brother and Strictly Come Dancing. You know, get on your app and put your votes in. So what would be the difference between that and voting for, you know, should we do away with holidays that last a whole month? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you could have direct democracy on a number of different issues. So why not? Why not? Yeah, exactly, Slim. I think I'm saying much the same thing. Yeah. So where are we? George Galloway. I've never trusted George Galloway. There's something about him that just doesn't gel right with me. Scottish people tend to be a tad cynical, and we do like to wail on our own sometimes, but George Galloway just seems to be someone who is so obviously out for George Galloway. And that is all he is interested in. And how George Galloway gets into Parliament and gets into power is all that George Galloway is fighting for. And if you think for one instant that George Galloway has your interests in heart, then he doesn't. George Galloway really has his own interests at heart. And what worries me is that George Galloway goes in with elements of the British society that aren't necessarily British society, if you get what I mean, because there are elements in this country that are keeping themselves separate from British society and British values. And this might sound like a reform advert, but it's not. But because British values, I think, are important. If you come to a country, regardless of how you got there, if you're born in a country, if you value the society, if you value the values of that society, then you have to support them and you have to uphold them. If you don't value them, then you tend to move away. You would move away from that. You wouldn't, or you may try and effect change, right? But the people that come here, and there's someone on Twitter just now who has popped up, and let's get Twitter straight, people. You don't have a timeline. You have a number of people are shown to you. You don't get to create that, really. You can say, yeah, I don't like posts like this, and Twitter pretends to take cognizance of it. It removes that, or it takes that post away from your vision and says, yeah, we won't show you posts like that much anymore. And then 2 weeks later, all the bike wankers posts appear again. So Twitter's a fleeting thing, but you don't have a timeline. You don't get to choose what you see. Twitter decides what you're going to see, and the algorithm decides what you're going to see. And quite interestingly, and I digress here, but indulge me if you will, because quite interestingly, there was an interview on Joe Rogan recently in which the guy was pointing out that they found out that depending on who is looking at a conversation, depends on which parts of the comments are being served to you. So, I mean, I believe this was a TikTok conversation, and a man was looking at it and was getting issues that supported a male point of view. And the comments were supporting the male point of view. And the same topic, the same post that generated the comments that the male was looking at was being looked at by a female. And she was getting a completely different set of comments that supported a more female point of view, or her point of view. So it appears that not only do you get what the algorithm is going to show you, you also get the comments that the algorithm thinks you're going to like, which is even worse, because now you don't get an informed choice of what you're seeing at all. You get it thrust in your face, and then you're getting either reinforced or told how to change your thinking to go along with it. That's worrisome. I don't know if that applies to Twitter, but Twitter again has its own problems, and we'll come on to Twitter later on. Well, back to Galloway, and really, the man is self-serving. Most politicians effectively are. Show me a non-narcissistic politician, and I'll show you someone who probably isn't a politician. But George Galloway, if anything, is more narcissistic than any, and I believe he's either he is deliberately using parts of society to jump on their bandwagon and be voted in by them. And I can tell you exactly who they are before you say, well, who are they? But you think you know who they are in this occasion. And the thing is, that again is a dangerous path to tread, because really, are you affecting change within the society that you are supposed to be valuing, that moves it away from that society? Yeah, everything changes, but really, when you see some of the things, you don't want to go down a route of embracing a different it's not even a legal system. It's like a religious diktat. Is that how you want to live your life? You know, you will be dictated as to what you do, how you do it, where you do it, what you wear. You know, are these things that you would want to be dictated to you? Because that could happen. And this is back to my original point there, which was someone on Twitter who is posting and showing things like, you know, how to dress appropriately and dressing up Western women in their cultural garb and saying, don't they look lovely? Well, no, because you can barely see them, right? And secondly, why would you enforce your culture, which you actually stated you fled from, right? So you are a former asylum seeker. So you've come to this country, you've been granted asylum, which makes you a successful refugee. What were you fleeing that means you didn't flee to a country that embraces the culture in which you were grown up? So you didn't go to another Islamic country, but you fled to the UK, which is a non-Islamic country, and then do nothing but try and enforce those cultural norms on the people of Great Britain. That person, if they are a naturalised citizen, which if they are a successful asylum seeker, they probably are, that person took an oath. And regardless of what you say, if you take an oath, you should stand by your word, should you not? If you are going to say, I solemnly swear to abide by the laws and practices of Great Britain and you'll usually find there is an allegiance to the king or queen. Now, if you take that oath and then turn around and say, "Not my king," have you not just broken your oath? And therefore, should you not just be instantly deported? Because you've failed to fulfill the criteria, the contract in which you were allowed entry to this country and allowed to stay. And you think that might be harsh just because they say "not my king." But if you were born in this country, you are a naturalised citizen and you're allowed to stay here and you're allowed to object to the king because it's part of your country. But if you choose to come to this country and take an oath that specifically says that you will show allegiance to the king or queen, and the whole conversation about having a royal family is moot here because you took that oath and you said it. Therefore, if you break your oath, should you be deported? My view is yes, because you can't be trusted. So you can't be trusted to uphold British values in any form. Therefore, you shouldn't be allowed to remain in the country because effectively you are working, you are being seditious. You're working against the country from within. And that's the kind of thing that brings down governments and brings down society and brings down, ultimately, civilizations. And while there may be a lot wrong with the West, it's probably the best and greatest civilization there has ever been. And that might sound hyperbolic, but show me one that's better. Show me one that's better. Anyway, so it's meant to be a chill Sunday, isn't it? It's meant to be a chill out time. Look over my left shoulder. Can you see my new friend that I was given today from my lovely daughter? I have a friend for Chaz. So, there you go. Chaz now has his own family. I don't know. We need a name. So we now have Chazzy's friend and little friend. So we need names, people. Think about it. Get thinking about it. Right, there we go. So, yeah. Right. So that's my view on Galloway, really, and the problems that he could kick off and could affect us. And I think I know people say people are just trying to stir you up against one side or the other, so you'll pick a side. But sometimes you've got to pick a side. And I think there's quite a few people who are ex-Muslims or what we might call nominal Muslims, in that they say they're Muslims, but they really don't follow. I know Muslims that drink. I know Muslims that have extracurricular activities that don't necessarily hit the mosque as much as they should and all that. And these people are more westernized than Muslim. And they're on the cusp probably of falling away from the cult. Oh, sorry, the religion. So yeah, I mean, there are people who, when they see what it's like to live in a free air society, as opposed to one that has its roots firmly and still has them firmly in the 7th and 8th century, then yeah, I think you've got to remember that, I think there are an awful lot of people who would be on the cusp, and that's one thing that we've got going for us, in that we can show people what it's like to be free, and that's why it's important that these people aren't allowed to develop enclaves and impose their own law and things like that. And it worries me when you see these things in London, where and It's another group, another religious group that seem to have their own police. You know, the runabout in London. You know, I think they tend to have a kind of star thing as their kind of, you know who I mean. And they have some kind of almost police force, which seems strange. But yeah, we're probably getting a bit heavy now. So we've covered Joe, Uncle Joe, who will not run in November. Now, the question is, though, is he going to drop out before the 27th? I think it would be wise if he did, because there are no teleprompters in this new debate. So he wouldn't be able to read things. So he'd have to make them up in his own head. He'd have to be doing this. You know, he'd have to be sitting here in front of cameras and coming up with ideas without, you know, supporting material and a script to follow. I think that might just be a step too far for Joe at this stage. I think Joe's got to go. The Democrats know Joe's got to go. And really, even if you're a staunch Democrat and always blue, do you really not in your heart of hearts think it's time to put the old horse out to pasture? You know, really? I think so. And Trump will take him apart. Trump would take him apart, wouldn't he? And, you know, people age in different manners, and Trump's obviously still got most of his faculties about him. It would be cruel to let him carry on, Emma. Well, there's a Welsh debate tonight. Good grief. I didn't know that. I thought, I didn't know that. So I don't think we'll be covering that one. I mean, really, Wales. I mean, I know we covered the Scottish one. That was a bust as well. So I think we'll be back for the next debate on the national stage, shall we say. I believe there's a team playing tonight. Oh, and your fans have been doing great, England, haven't they? Yeah. Fighting with the Serbians this afternoon. Drinking with inflatable bombers and singing derisive songs on the host nation. It's a good look. It's a great look. It's like, you just can't freaking let anything go, can you? I mean, you can't let 1945 go, and you can't let 1966 go. Just let it go, you know? But yeah, so English fans have been covering themselves in glory. Well done, chaps. Well done. Oh, there is too much phlegm in a Welsh debate. It's a cracking observation, Slim. I enjoyed that. In fact, let me now, I know you've spelt phlegm wrong, but it's a good attempt. Oh my God. You have tickled me indeed. Thank you. I enjoyed that. There is indeed too much phlegm in a Welsh debate. That's the English on tour. Yeah. Yes, there were a couple of knife incidents in Germany. No, I didn't hear that, Shalini. That's not good. We don't want that kind of thing going on. There we go. Too much phlegm in a Welsh debate.
That's true.
That is indeed true. Yes, I think Galloway, RTW, I think you're right. Galloway is an enemy, clearly. And, you know, I don't think we need to discuss that any longer. I think we can quite safely say that, yes, he is an enemy of the state. Now, is Elon Musk an enemy of the state? And I tell you, I saw this tweet. In fact, I will be reading from it. So Elon Musk made a tweet, and I'm not going to show you my tweets because I've got a lot of tweets on here that are already for next Friday. Well, did you see that picture of Princess Beatrice? If you go on Twitter and see my little video I posted, but have you seen that picture of Princess Beatrice? It's quite scary. She's very omanish. Where's the Elon Musk one? Oh, don't tell me they've taken it down. This is not good. Let me check. Elon, come to me. Elon. 2 seconds, people. Just bear with me. Oh, good grief! I've lost it. I've lost it. I had a list. I had a list of things that Elon Musk had been saying, and it appears to have disappeared. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Why has it disappeared? Oh. Anyway, right, okay. Let me bear with me a second and see if I can. Who's the guy that's standing against Nigel Farage? Some guy that looks like Doctor Who. You know, the new woke version of Doctor Who. Who's that? Because people are saying things about him, and it appears he may have some issues. Saying things like he's not necessarily fair to all races. I'm going back through my history to try and get to see if I can find how far back can I go. I don't think it's going to work, is it? I think we're kind of stuck. No, there we go. Nah, we've lost it. Now I can't find it, which is a shame. Indeed, that's a shame. Hey, no point in spilling over spilt Musk. But anyway, Musk had been making an awful lot of, there were allegations. It was due to his kind of, they're making allegations that he'd created a toxic environment wherever he works, and he'd been making nasty remarks to people. Like, for instance, in reply to the former, I think we're talking about Susan Wojcicki or whatever her name was, in reply to her, when she said something on Twitter, near the beginning when he took it up, he replied to her and said, "If you touch my weeder, I'll get you a pony." Which I thought was quite humorous. I mean, to me, it does seem to be banter, but yeah, I can see why some people might be offended. But you know what? It's your right to be offended. And this is actually part of the things that I find quite disturbing about Twitter right now. And that the last thing I saw last night was someone who I follow on Twitter, but to see the tweet that they'd posted, you would have had to subscribe to them. And I have no problem with that. But that's not how a town square works, That's not what Elon Musk said this was going to be. You don't get charged to go to the town square. You don't have to buy a ticket to go and sit and talk to people on the park bench. So that's not a town square. That's not how normally you don't pay to go into the pub. You just go into the pub and you pay to drink there, and you can sit and chat to people. That's not how this is working now on Twitter. Now on Twitter, the more you pay, the bigger exposure you get, and the more people you reach. If you don't pay on Twitter, you don't get any exposure, because I'm lucky if I get 1 or 2 new followers a week. Now, Ben's got a fairly big account, and he has a blue tick. I never bothered with the blue tick because I had a blue tick account, and someone close to me may have had a blue tick account and got permanently banned again. So this account doesn't have a blue tick and is never going to have one, and I'm stuck around about 300 or 400 followers or whatever. It just gradually. And this when I started on Twitter in 2009, I had 15,000, 20,000 followers. You know, I was the guy that had the over a million likes on the the Russian X the Russian TIE fighter that had been downed on the motorway. So yeah, um, shit happens, and Twitter's not really working just now. I don't think it's an echo chamber. It's good from the point of view you can find humorous things on it, but it really is becoming more TikTok than you know proper a proper a proper social media experiment. And I've tried the rest, and they don't work either. None of them work. You know, Facebook's a joke. Telegram's just, I mean, Telegram's boring. Trump Social, forget it, or whatever it was called. Instagram is a complete freaking mystery to me. I might sound old, but what the fuck is Instagram? And all the young people use Instagram to do what? I just don't understand it. They send you messages on Instagram, and it's like, Instagram used to be for photographers to show pictures, and even then it's a shockingly bad medium for that, because one, it favours everything in a square format. Have you ever seen a camera that takes square pictures, usually in medium formats? You're never going to put them on Instagram because the resolution would knock your socks off if you saw it in reality, but not on Instagram. And let's face it, nothing, and you talk about 4K, 8K, you know, I've got a great 4K TV. Nothing fucking bears to the resolution that comes out a print that's, you know, 6 foot by 8 foot, and you stick it on the wall. So take your phone, and it doesn't matter how good the screen on your phone is, because it's tiny. There's no point in paying for a high resolution display on something that's this size. I mean, really, what's the point? You're never going to see anything in its true resolution on a device that small. So what's the point? And that's why I don't consume video on mobile phones. You know, I don't do things on mobile phones because the real estate is so limited. And it's like Ben and I had a discussion the other day about thumbnails, and how I was saying, you know, these thumbnails don't stick out. And Ben says, yeah, but that thumbnail does stick out. And I'm going, I don't understand how you think it sticks out. And I shows him a picture of the screen that I'm sitting on. So I'm sitting on a wide screen. It's what, 3440 by 1440, right? And the thumbnail takes up about this much space on that screen. The screen's like this size. So for a thumbnail to stick out, it's really got to stick out. Whereas if you're looking at it on a mobile, you've maybe got 3 thumbnails. So how can you even tell that a thumbnail sticks out if you can only see 3 at a time? Anyway, I'm just moaning about nonsense because it's Sunday and I'm entitled to, and it's my show. So if you don't like it, but if you do like it, now would be the time to think about hitting the like button, sharing and subscribing, because all those things are free. And I know that we have a cost of living crisis and everybody's feeling the pinch, but if you can, drop us a donation, because donations are really way down on what they used to be. Yeah. Last December, January, February, donations were much, much higher than they are now. Donations have been slowly dropping down, and revenue on this channel isn't going up. We don't get a lot of ad revenue. We'll be lucky if this stream makes 10 pence, you know, literally 10 pence in adverts, that we'll get paid. So we don't get a lot of revenue from ads. So if you can afford a donation, you know where to go. Ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. And as always, we incredibly appreciative of anything that is dropped our way. Everybody's a thief, mate. Everybody is a thief of some kind or another, aren't they? Because governments are stealing your money left, right and centre. All taxation is literally theft. I mean, what are they providing? I had a look at, have you seen the cuts since the Tories got in power that they've implemented on public services across the board? I mean, massive cuts, billions in some cases, millions in others. Um, so the Tories did, the Tories have put in some kind of austerity. Now that would be fine. That would be fine if you were being sensible with the money and using it within the country, but we're not. How much money have we spunked on Ukraine? How much? It's just incredible. To what avail? Because that's the next question. To what avail? And it's not something we're really going to discuss because YouTube doesn't like you talking about that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, council taxes. Well, what are you paying for? What are you paying for? Why can't we just pay for what we use, really, rather than pay a blanket charge on the fact that you have a house, whether you own it or rent it or it's a council house, you still have to pay council tax on it. How does that work? I never figured that one out. The council give you a subsidised house, but then charge you an extra fee to because you got a subsidised house. So, did you really get a subsidised house? Anyway, what about Dave for the new bear? Well, that I like what you're thinking. Well, what do you call the child? What do you call the cub? And whose is it? Are we going all LGBTQ? Are we having a very modern bear family that adopted a young bear that was lost in the woods one day? Oh, there's a nice young bear lost in the woods. Let's adopt it. just a question. So maybe rethink that name then, Shalini, because you did see it did have a little bear. It was hugging onto that little bear. Little Dave. It could be Little Dave, but good grief. Oh my god. Somebody's going to send me an LGBTQ flag next, aren't you? See, someone got the jail or got arrested. Someone got arrested for burning an LGBTQ flag in London. I've seen quite a few flags being burnt in London, but I hadn't really heard of anyone getting arrested for it. So, if it's your flag, is it an offence? And if it is an offence, why do the other people that burn flags not get arrested? So there's the questions. Right. And let's go back to the cow thing about the police. So we know that yesterday, or was it just yesterday, or was it Friday night that Surrey police ran a cow down deliberately? So they deliberately rammed a cow stroke calf that had been running about for a couple of hours. Because they just couldn't contain it. They couldn't get anyone to catch it, and they ran it down. And the cow got injured, but it's been attended to by a vet, and it's in recovery. It seems to be doing all right. It's in a stable or whatever. It's had its legs stitched up. Traumatized cow, but it's getting there. It's coming back. And the question that then came out was that apparently it was getting near the M3. So now you're getting to the point where, well, there are decisions that you have to make, because if you let a stray cow onto a motorway, you are asking for serious carnage. And I've told you already about the accident I went to on the A78, where I think it was like 3 cows had strayed onto the dual carriageway at night, and it was mayhem. Blocked the entire carriageway, cars on the roofs, people injured, tens of people injured. So I think then you're getting to the point if all you've got is your vehicle. And let's face it, you can't reason with a cow, especially if it's upset and traumatized and running about mad. And you don't have any Cows are big. Even calves are big and strong. So if you can only use what you've got, and maybe there's slight justification for it. Maybe, because I think ultimately you have to value human life over an animal. Or do you? Do you? Right. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, and I did say actually, I did say if that was a situation and it was getting near going onto a motorway or a dual carriageway, it was night time, and the decision was mine, I would do it. I'd do it. I'd take the cow out. Yeah. I think you have to. When you see what happens when a car hits a cow, you can help. I mean, you got to remember the weight that's in a cow, even and it was a fairly big calf. You hit that at speed, you're just, it's not going to end well. It's just not going to end well. So there you go. Well, animal cruelty. Sometimes you have to be cruel to be safe, or to value the people in your own tribe. These things happen. These things happen. I mean, did you see the video of the Lion King? The one that the remake, and where the young cub stuck its head up a buffalo's anus and suffocated to death. And apparently this happens quite a lot with lions because they've got quite big heads and they can't get it out. And there were people filming it, but you can't walk into Pride of Lions and pull a lion out of a buffalo's butt. What the hell? Listen to yourself. You just can't do it. You can't walk into a Pride of Lions and pull a lion cub from a buffalo's butt. I shouldn't be laughing, but yeah. That's not a phrase you hear often, people, is it? Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, you missed the entire show, Ben. What time is it? Oh, good grief. Oh. Yeah, I apologise for my poor behaviour and my laughter at the poor lions and lion cubs of Africa that unfortunately many see their demise each year from being far too inquisitive when it comes to downed buffaloes and where they put their heads. Jesus Christ. I can't take this anymore. Oh. Oh, right. Right, where are we? What are we going to talk about now? Let's talk about the bikini-clad coffee girls. So I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently they do this. Apparently they do this. They do this in America. So they have drive-through coffee shops with girls that they're in bikinis, and they're obviously taking advantage of the punters. It's a bit like a Hooters drive-through, except in bikinis. And certainly the bikinis were quite revealing. I think you may even have seen those things that Gillian Anderson had. Now, let's not go there again either. So anyway, bikini-clad girl gives guy his order, which is, a vanilla ice latte. A vanilla ice latte. Could you be any Keir? and a water, and is presented with the bill of $22, and which isn't cheap. Not cheap for 2 drinks, especially a non-alcoholic variety. But are you really paying for the drinks, or are you paying for the view? And my contention is you're paying for the view. So anyway, this guy gets out his car and throws said drinks over bikini-clad girl. Now, on the plus side, they're cold drinks. Okay. Secondly, she is wearing a bikini, so, so she's probably used to... She doesn't have a lot of clothes to get wet. Thirdly, you shouldn't be doing that, chap. You know, you contracted the service, you got what you asked for, you have to pay the price, you knew what it was going to be up front. And thirdly, bikini clad girl takes a hammer and smashes his windscreen. There you go. There you go. And that's a good point, Brit, mate. That is a good point. Maybe he just wanted a bit more on show, but hey, what a numpty indeed, Slaney. What a numpty. So, whose fault was that? That's purely down to the John Doe, innit? It's down to the client, should we say. He shouldn't be doing that. The customer. The customer in this case, I think, was most definitely wrong. Oh yeah, I know. I was rooting for the little guy. He was giving it Tonka. I thought the little guy had a better chance because there was 2 in that video. If we saw the same video, Brit, mate. And the first one, he was a big guy. He'd no way he was getting that head back out. But yeah, I was rooting for the little guy, and then the big line came over to see what was going on and thought, yeah, you're in trouble, mate. But I don't have hands or a knife, so nothing I can do. And as I said on Friday, this is why cats will never take over the world. No thumbs. Right. Well, I'm glad that my laugh at least is infectious. Maybe my humour isn't, but my laugh can be. So, Bass and Tapes, what's the score tonight, mate? You were very quick to tell us the score the other night, but I'm not hearing anything from you tonight. and I don't know the score. I don't know what's happening. To be fair, I really don't care. But it's always good to support Abe. Oh, England are up 1 goal. Good grief, that's poor. That makes me feel bad now. Yeah, okay, right, thanks. It's been great for you. "53 minutes in. Oh right. Yeah, England will no doubt, they'll do the same, except they'll do the same as Scotland, except they normally go in reverse, don't they? They start better and then get worse until they throw it all away at the end. Yeah? Is that not how it works? Whereas Scotland starts shite, get better, but never manage to progress because they snatch defeat from the jaws of victory at every opportunity. Right. Yeah, Ben, I lost that. Remember I had that list of Elon Musk tweets? I lost it, and I could only remember 1 or 2 of them. So that was a shame. I thought I'd bookmarked it, unless somebody's deleted it. Maybe Elon's been on the phone going, "I'll give you hundreds of thousands of Smarties if you take that tweet down." There you go, Ben. There you go, Ben. You're still the favourite, mate. You're still the favourite. I don't know, Brent, mate. If somebody was terminated. I really don't. I've been doing the same as Ben. I've been unconscious before this show. He may have had a seizure, which I suppose works on the sympathy vote more than mine. I just fell asleep because I'm getting old and I'd been up since 7:30 and only had like 3 hours sleep. So yeah, I just fell asleep on the couch watching. Oh God, I was watching something about Galloway as well. Just to bone up so as I could, which I remember nothing of it, so there was no point. But yeah. And then I started watching something about that Doctor Who guy that's running against Nigel Farage. but I couldn't stay awake for it. It was boring. Yeah. And apparently there's a debate, Ben, on just now in Welsh Wales. like my dad's parents used to live in England. Well, when they were alive, they lived in England. They moved to England. They moved to England when he was. Well, I think they moved to England when he joined the navy. So anyway, they were down living in England, and we used to go down and visit them occasionally, and they would always talk about Welsh Wales because if you said Wales, people obviously in those days just got confused and thought you were talking about large aquatic sea mammals. So you always had this, everything was Welsh Wales. Yeah. We've got some kind of romance going on. Oh, let's talk about the boys. So I started watching the boys because the boys has kicked off again, and I'm a bit confused now. I know that Starlight had some work done, but I didn't realise that she was now going to be played by a 60-year-old version of herself. Because I don't know what she did, but it didn't help. She wasn't a bad looking bird, let's face it. She looked all right. You wouldn't have crawled over her to get to Ben, you know. And I don't know what she's done. Why would she do that? And I keep thinking that when she appears, she's either got big glowing eyes or and fire coming out her mouth, or or. So it's either or they kind of keep cutting the camera on her briefly and then away. I think they don't really want you to focus on the fact that she's now looks like she's 60 instead of 22 or whatever she is. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And did you enjoy it, Brett, mate? Did you enjoy Fringe? Be good. Fringe was all right. Fringe was the last two seasons. It was good for a little bit. The first three seasons were fine. First three seasons were fine. So anyway, back to the boys. Yeah, it does seem to be verging on a little bit of wokeism, and that was one of the things about the boys that made it stand out. That it wasn't terribly woke, but it's really starting to go down that route, especially with the choice of characters and then making them what they are. The most intelligent sentient being on the planet comes from statistically the group that's likely to be the dumbest. But hey, you never know what a mutant drug can do for you. You never know. Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything tonight, haven't we? The reduction in British values, the new bear, which I think has to be a female. It has a cub, Unless we're going down that Modern Family. Maybe we should just go down the Modern Family route. Chaz, Dave, and Little Dave. Yeah. I'm not going to comment. I'm not commenting on my bears other than that. Right. I've had fun tonight. I hope you guys have. Sorry for the later start, but that was because, as I said, I fell asleep. But hey ho, these things happen. And you know what? It's a bonus anyway. You got to see me. And it's been great. It's been great having a chat here, not watching football and all that kind of stuff. You guys you have lifted me up this evening because I was feeling a bit grumpy. But yes, thank you. We could call the bear Mariana. And then what do we call little Dave? Or do we just call him Little Dave? Mariana and Little Dave. So we've got Chaz, Mariana, and Little Dave. That's an idea. So anything else you people come up with, because obviously Ben came up with that idea. And if it's one of Ben's ideas, I am contractually bound to disagree with it. so if you guys can come up with something better, then wire in. Call the cub Brent. No, that's like an abusive relationship, Ben. You're just going too far, mate. Oh god, I'm crying. Oh, it's too much. It's too much for me. It was Harold to come up with Mariana. Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Harold. We might well take up Mariana then. Right, stop. Stop. Enough of this nonsense. You people must have better things to do than watch me on a Sunday night. You must have better things to do than watch me on a Sunday night. I don't, but it's been great for you.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. I can't contain it, I'm coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer. What you say, yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.